Hello, and welcome back to part 3 of these Blender videos. In this video, we're going to be looking at setting up materials within Blender to enable us to edit materials within Unreal Engine. We're going to look at PBR textures within Unreal, as well as sorting out troubleshooting problems that you could encounter when importing and exporting your meshes. So if we look at the references I got earlier, the top bit is white. I'll probably do it as like a pinker red, and then we've got red, and then we've got copper. I would assume it's copper at the bottom. Not copper. Is it copper? Whatever the cheaper material is. I'll stick with copper. So what I want to do, I want to start separating this into different materials. So I still want to have one mesh, but I want to have various materials. So to do this, in the top right, we can see that we've got these 4 different circles. I want the third one. So that's called shading, viewport shading. There you go. No, that's not what am I about? Material preview. There you go. They're all viewport shading. Yeah. Then on the right hand side, we have this little red circle. So it's the one lower down, not the one that's kind of in the middle. And I just want to press new. So what it's going to do is going to make us a material. So the material currently is called Material 001, and I want to name it to red. Then the base color, I'm just going to change it to red. Then I'm going to make a new material. So I'm going to press plus, new material. This one's going to be gold. I know it's not gold, but it's fine. And I'm going to set the color of this one to gold. And I'm going to make another material. And this one is going to be called red 2, maybe. Anything like that. And then just set this. You can leave that as a default color. So the materials that we're doing in Blender are not the final materials. It's just so Unreal recognizes that the object that we're importing has various material slots in it. Right. So what we want to do, we want to go back into edit mode. I don't want to be in any of these tools, so I just want to use move. I'm going to click on that very bottom face and just grow my selection. And the only bits I want selected are the ones that are going to have that brassy copper look. Then I'm going to click on where it says gold, and I'm just going to press assign. Then I'm going to go to my top face, and that one's going to be red 2, and I press assign. So right now, hideous, but it will look nicer when it's an engine, I promise. So one last thing that we need to check before we export it is that all of our smoothing is correct. So what you need to do is go into object mode and have a little rotate round. So we can see here, I've got a nice hard edge, and then this bit, well, it's not nice, but I don't actually want a hard edge there. But this bit has been smoothed out. So Auto Smooth does a good job normally. So earlier when we done right click, shade Auto Smooth, we can see they've done a good job. So basically the way it works right now, the green triangle on the right hand side, anything that is below 30 degrees is going to be smoothed. Anything that is over 30 degrees is not going to be smoothed. So for example, if I turn this down, less and less is going to get smoothed. If I turn it up, it's all going to get smoothed, which leads to really ugly looking stuff like this. Generally, Auto Smooth is okay, but sometimes it's not the best. So what I like to do, I try and get a nice balance. So I'll leave it at 30, for example. Actually, I'll crank it up. If I do 40, and what I do, I go into edit mode. I just make sure I'm on edge. So the bits that I want to have a hard edge. So let me find a bit. So like here, for example, it's very muffled in how it looks. So for example, this edge, just said for example like 6 times. This edge here, I'm going to right click after I've selected it, and then I'm just going to mark it as a sharp. So what I've done, I've told Blender I want this edge to be seen as a sharp edge. I don't want it to be seen as a smoothed out edge. This bit here, I could crank this number up, or alternatively, I could just scale in that edge slightly, so it is under 40 degrees as opposed to being over 40 degrees. Then after doing that, it's pretty much alright. I'll probably do one more hard edge, purely because if we look at this shadow, it's a bit distorted, where if I select this edge, right click, mark sharp, you can see it really cleans that shadow up. And maybe one more here. So I'm just looking at ways that I can kind of polish the mesh up, just so it's visually nicer, so to speak. Just gonna save before I lose it. Right. So what we want to do now, we want to export our shotgun shell. We want to chuck it into Unreal Engine, and then we want to set up our materials in Unreal Engine and make it actually look like it's a pickup. So someone that's refitting their shotgun, for example. So I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to click on my shotgun shell. I'm going to go File, Export, FBX. So I've already got one called Bullet. So I just want to make sure selected objects is ticked. If I don't tick that, it's going to export my camera and my light, which I don't want. I just want the bullet. Then I just press Export. So now, once I'm in Unreal, so I go into my File Explorer and I find bullet.fbx, and I just click and drag that into my content browser at the bottom. Then I press Import All. So it's going to give me some issues, which are can create issues, FBX. So the smoothing groups should be fine. One of the issues was talking about smoothing groups. This issue here, if I rotate it, is not actually because of smoothing groups, it's because I haven't updated my graphics card. The driver anyway. So, the issue that we currently have, when I'm clicking and dragging it in, we can see half of my bullet is under the floor, and secondly, they are massive. So, in Blender, a couple things. First of all, want a bullet to be smaller. Normally I would import the Unreal Engine mannequin, just so we got a size reference. To make it smaller. And secondly, originally our bullet was halfway through this green line. So we actually want our bullet to sit on that green line. So on the right hand side of your screen, there is a tiny arrow. If you click that with your object selected, you've got location. If you set all of these to 0 and then just pull it up, so it's sitting on that green line. The reason for this is 0, 0, 0 in 3D space is what Unreal classes as the origin point of the object, or the pivot point. So once I've done that, I'm just going to export it, save over my original file, and then in Unreal, I'm just going to right click where it says bullet and re-import. Boop. There you go, a tiny little bullet, but it sits perfectly on the floor. So now we have set up all of our 3D model, we've imported it. It's time to start doing the materials. So when we brought it into Unreal, we've got our bullet and the 3 materials that we set up within Blender. So right now, if I open up the bullet itself, there's not much going on. It's pretty basic, boring colours. Not boring, but not materials that we particularly want. So what we're going to do, while I'm in this view, I can see all the materials that are assigned, and if I double click them, it's going to open up my material window. So we can delete everything that already exists, apart from this bit here. And all that I'm going to do is hold 3 on my keyboard and left click, and this is going to give me a constant. And I'm just going to plug that into base color. So all a constant is defining what color I want my material to actually be. So if I set it to pink, my ball will turn to pink. So I'm going to get a nice red. Something that really upsets me about Unreal. The color I have here and the color that is here, completely different. So like, that is red. Beautiful. So, like I said a minute ago, it's just red. Pretty boring. What we can do, I can add another constant. So I hold 3 and left click. And this one, I actually tell a lie. I can take this and I can just duplicate it. So Control D on the keyboard and it will duplicate. This second red, I'm just going to make it slightly darker. So not by much, but enough. So old color, new color. I press OK. And I want to add in, so I'm just going to press tab and look for lerp. And there's one that is called linear interpolate. And basically what this is going to do, I'm just going to plug that into my base color. My first red is going to go into A. My second red is going to go into B. And the alpha, I want a texture that has loads of different white, grey and black values. So basically anything that is white is going to be seen by whatever texture is plugged into A. Anything that is black or greys, etc. is going to be B. And greys are going to be like a mix between the both. So it's just going to give us some nice color variation as opposed to it looking quite flat. So if I hold T on my keyboard and left click, it's going to give me a texture sample. And I want to plug this into the alpha. And the texture I want, so I click on texture sample. On the left hand side it says texture and it's currently set to none. I want Perlin noise. Boom. So quite hard to see. If I was to change the color of this to like green, for example, that's how it's mixed. So I've got some reds in there. So if I just set this back to that type of color. There's a bit of pink for my likings. Come on, Clement. There we go. Boom, something like that. And we can see that there's very slight changes. So that is just the base color that we played around with right now. The other one I want to play with is roughness. So I'm just going to take all of these values and copy and paste them. So Control D, duplicate. And I want to plug the lerp into roughness. And it's not going to do much right now. So the roughness only takes grey values, so grayscale. So for example, if I had a constant and I plug this in to the roughness, if the constant that is plugged in is black, we can see that our ball is really reflective. If I change this to white, for example, it's going to be really rough. I'm not going to be able to see. If I change it to grey, it's going to be semi-rough, semi-reflective. So what I want, these two here, I want to have midtones. So I'm just going to set it to like a darkish grey. And this one, I'm going to set to a slightly lighter tone. It's probably very similar to lighter than that. And now when I plug this into roughness, what's going to happen? It is lerping, so it's basically doing a blend based on this alpha, these values and these ones, and you can see by the light that we're getting a bit of a variation on our roughness channel. So if I want to make that more extreme, I could turn this more white and we'll see even more. So you don't want it to be too noisy, and remember the bullet's going to be so small in game anyway, that you're not really going to see much on it. Something like that is cool. And I save that. Jump back to my bullet. What is wrong with me? There we go. And we can see we've got some variation on the actual model itself. So the next one we're going to do is gold. So I'm going to double click on gold. Might just keep that color, to be honest. So the thing that we want to do differently this time is the metallic. So the bit that we just done is like a plasticky type of material. So because this bit is more metal, it is metal, we want to plug something into metallic as well. So I'm going to press 3 and left click, and I'm going to plug this into metallic. So the way this works, metallic is either a value of 0 or 1. So white being 1, as in, yes, it is turned on, it is metal. If it's black, it is 0, it isn't metal. So even like oxidized, I'm pretty sure is the word. Metal, it is still metal, but the roughness is what kind of messes it up on things like rust, for example. So I'll plug the white constant into metallic, which gives me this metallic look. And I want to do a similar thing again. So I want to plug this into a lerp. I want to duplicate this. So I've got 2, plug it into B, and I want a texture. So T and left click, plug this into the alpha, and again, I want a Perlin noise. And this is going to plug into roughness. And I just want to change these values to be grays, different grays, just so I have that slight roughness variation. Gotta go a bit, yeah, something like that. So, if you want to play around even more, let's say that you wanted to do like a brushed metal. On the texture sample, there's a bit where it says UVs. If I click and drag that out and look for texture coordinate, boom. The UV tiling, if I set it to like 0.1 on the U, you can see that it's doing me a brushed effect. So it's a bit cooler, a bit nicer. I'm just going to save that. Oh, pop back over here. And you can see that the metal is a little bit more interesting. Obviously you can push this further by doing another lerp with this up here to get some color variation in there. So lerp, I'm going to plug in the same Perlin noise because I want to keep this texture coordinate. This goes into B, this goes into A, this goes into base color, and I'm just going to change the value ever so slightly. There you go. Just to give that a bit of color variation as well, and save. Boom. Very nice. Then obviously we just need to do it on the top. So red 2, just going to change this to a still red but slightly pinker. And all I'm going to do on this one is literally just give it a texture sample, so T and left click, plug it into roughness, grab a Perlin noise. Okay, maybe I'll lerp it as well. And then two constants rather. So 3 left click, 1 into B, 1 into A. We just want to get some grays in there. There you go, you got a really basic bullet. Save. So remember, this is going to be tiny. Tiny. So you just want your colours to be readable from a distance. So if they're on the floor, it's obvious that they're actual shotgun shells, not something else. And in later videos, we're going to either be texturing in Blender or doing Quixel Mixer, which is also free. You can download that online. Beautiful. So, just to recap. In this video, we've looked at how to break our mesh into various materials, how to export and import our mesh into Unreal Engine. We've gone over some troubleshooting issues that you might encounter, as well as creating a really basic PBR material within Unreal Engine.